Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Total Body Strength. My name is Jazzy, health fitness specialist with Exos Autodesk. We'll go ahead and get started here with today's circuit. So we are going to be doing a mix of upper body and lower body, focusing on some pulling movements today. So a lot of back and a lot of glutes and hamstrings. So that's going to be what we're going to be doing today. And then we are going to be doing 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds rest. We're going to go through that 2 times and then move on to the next exercise. So we're going to go through that whole thing 3 times. So it's 1 minute per exercise, but we're doing 20, 10. So we'll get 10 seconds of rest in between each movement. So that is the basis of the workout today. So I'll go ahead and start demonstrating. You will need at least 1 set of dumbbells. I always recommend 2, just that way you can have a heavier one and a lighter one. So as we go through the circuit and you get more tired, your form starts to kind of break down a little bit, go ahead and grab those lighter dumbbells. We also are going to be doing one thing that is going to be overhead. So you might need a lighter set of dumbbells for that as well. So we're going to go ahead and start off here this morning with around the world raises. So this is going to work our rear delts and our back a little bit. I totally forgot to turn my light on. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Okay. Light is on. We can now see me. Okay. Restarting here. Around the world raises. So our palms are going to be forward here. We're going to keep that core tight back. We're going to exhale, bring the hands all the way up overhead and slowly lowering those back down. We want to make sure that we are just pulling with the shoulders here. We don't want to touch those weights together at the top. We want to slowly lower. We aren't just dropping our hands to the ground, okay? So that's going to be the first thing we're going to do. Up next, number 2, we're going to be doing some Romanian deadlifts or RDLs. And with these, we are going to go nice and slow. So we're going to do a 3-0-3 count. So we're going to take 3 seconds to come down. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, coming back up. So we're pushing those hips back, core nice and tight, back flat, slowly lowering the weight until we start to feel that pull in our hamstrings. Once we start to feel that and our hips aren't going back any further, the movement is over. So be careful with that. We don't want the weights going all the way to the ground. And then after that, we're going to stay in that down position here, just like the RDL. We're going to do bent over T. So hips are back, chest is parallel with the ground. We're going to have those pinkies pointed towards the ceiling, driving with the elbows, making a T. So from this angle here, drive those elbows up into a T and back down. Make sure that chin is tucked, core tight, back is flat, and we're pulling through the rear delts. So making sure that our pinkies are up. All right, then after that, we're going to go ahead and get on the ground for glute bridges. So on our backs, I might have to push the camera down a little bit for us today. Okay, so then for glute bridges, we can have those dumbbells resting on the hips here. Feet are still hip width apart. We're squeeze the glutes, raising them until they're equal with our knees and our shoulders, and back down. Keeping the pelvis tucked, core nice and tight, squeezing all the way up and back down. And then staying in this position, very similar, we're going to do some glute bridge marches. So we're engaging the core and our glutes are squeezed. We're going to alternate one knee up at a time, like we're marching. Exhaling, keeping that core tight. We're using the core, not the hip flexors, to move. And then finally, our favorite, we're going to do some dead bugs with that core assist. So dumbbells straight above the shoulders here, knees above the hips, lower one leg, exhale, come back, other leg, exhale, come back. So we're not moving the arms back and forth. We're just holding those arms above head to really make sure that we are using our core and not our hip flexors. All right, so that is what we're going to be doing today. And like I said, we're going to do 20, 10, 2 times, and then move on. So we'll do 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest of around the world, and then we'll do 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest of around the world, and then we'll move on to the RDLs. So that is what we're going to be doing today. So we can go ahead and get started with our warm up. And what we're going to do is we're going to be on the hands and our knees, and we're going to do some active rotation here. So I'm just going to paste this one. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with my right hand reaching through in between my right leg. Right hand is in between the left arm and the left leg. and then exhaling, rotating up towards the ceiling. So we're gonna do this a couple times on this side, going at a nice pace, really reaching as far as we can, opening up to the ceiling. And one more, inhaling, reaching through, exhaling, opening on up, and back to the center. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So left hand, reaching in between the right arm and the right leg as far as we can. Exhaling, hand towards the ceiling, gazing past that thumb. Inhaling, reaching through. Exhaling, opening up. And last one here, inhaling, reaching through. And exhaling, reaching up. And then back to center. Awesome, great job, y'all. Next up, we're gonna do our half knee length hip flexor to hamstring stretch. Really getting the hips warmed up as well as the hamstrings. We're doing a lot of hamstring and glute work today. So hip flexor stretch, rotating the pelvis, squeeze the glute of the knee that's on the ground, push those hips forward, reaching overhead with that same arm of the knee that's on the ground. Inhaling nice and deep, feeling the opening up the front of our hip. And let's go ahead and exhale, rocking those hips back into that hamstring stretch. Nice big deep breath. And exhaling, last one here, hip flexor, squeeze that glute, reach the hand overhead, push those hips forward, back is tight, core is engaged. And on the next exhale, rocking those hips back into that hamstring stretch, toes to the ceiling, chest towards the knee. And on the next exhale, we can go ahead and release. We're gonna do that same thing on the other side. So switching knees. So now my left knee is on the ground, my right foot is on the ground. Same thing here, tuck the pelvis, squeeze that glute, push the hips forward, reach that hand overhead. Inhaling nice and deep into the front of the hip. And exhaling into that hamstring stretch. So we're pushing our hips back, keeping our back as flat as we can to feel that the most in our hamstring, toes towards the ceiling. Awesome job. One more here, switching back to that hip flexor stretch. Squeeze that glute, core is tight, push those hips forward. And we're gonna exhale into that hamstring stretch. Great job. On the next exhale, we can go ahead and release out of that. And we're gonna get ready here for our circuit. So starting at the top with the round the world raises, we're gonna do 3 by 3, I mean 20 seconds of work. There it is, 10 seconds of rest, 2 times before moving to our RDLs, okay? So I'm gonna start the timer here in 3, 2, 1, and we are going. So we have our palms forward, bringing our hands directly overhead and back down. Exhaling, keeping that core tight. Our pelvis is tucked. We want to make sure that when we are reaching overhead, we're not here. We're here. 3, 2, 1. All right. That was 1. We're going to do that one more time, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and then we're moving on. 3, 2, 1. So around the world raises, still coming up and over and around, using our shoulders. It's going to help our rear delts as well, which is going to help with posture. Make sure we're breathing here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Up next, we have RDL. So we're taking 3 seconds down and then taking 3 seconds up. 3, 2, 1. So pushing those hips back nice and slow. And then once we get to that bottom portion, we're coming right back up. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. We had 10 seconds of rest, and then we're going to do that again. Keeping those shoulder blades pinned back as well. 3, 2, 1. So we're letting those hands drag along the front of our shins here. Nice and slow down, nice and slow up. Don't forget to breathe. Core is engaged the whole time. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up, we got our bent over tees. And for these ones too, you can also do them body weight if you don't have light enough weights here. 3, 2, 1. Pinkies towards the ceiling. Drive through the elbows here. Controlling on the way down. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got 10 seconds. We're doing that again. And now we're on the ground for the next 3 exercises. 3, 2, 1. So that chest is parallel with the ground, squeezing through the backs of our shoulders here. We should feel this all in the rear delt. If we're using momentum, we need to lighten the load a little bit. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job, everyone. We are getting on the ground here. We got glute bridges coming up. 3, 2, 1. So hold those dumbbells at your hips. Keep the pelvis tucked and the glutes are squeezed the entire movement. So we're squeezing all the way up and still keeping them squeezed on the way down. 3, 2, 1. All right, 10 seconds. We got one more of those, and we got glute bridge marches. 3, 2, 1. Keeping that core engaged. Our glutes are squeezed. Our pelvis is tucked. So that way we don't feel this movement in our low back. 3, 2, 1. All right, up next, glute bridge marches. You don't need the dumbbells for these unless you'd like that core assist. 3, 2, 1. We're keeping those hips up. If your left knee is coming up, that right glute is squeezed and vice versa. So making sure that we're not rocking our hips. We use that core and our glutes to keep our hips pointed towards the ceiling. Oh, we're resting. I was right on time that time. Sometimes it's hard to keep track when I can't see the timer very well. 3, 2, 1. Going again, keeping those glutes squeezed. Exhaling to help engage that core, squeeze in the glutes. Keeping those hips up and tucked. Our pelvis should be tucked. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last thing on the ground. And then we got 2 more rounds to go. We got dead bugs with the core assist. 3, 2, 1. Hands directly above our shoulders. Extending one leg at a time. Bringing those knees back to center. Pretending that we're crushing that apple with our core while our belly button is pressed into the ground. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're resting. We got a few seconds. We got one more of these and we're getting back up for around the world raises. 3, 2, 1. Extending one leg at a time. Really focusing on using the core. You're starting to feel your low back come off the ground. Then instead of going all the way out, come up a little bit more to help strengthen that core. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're getting back up. We got around the world raises coming up here. 3, 2, 1. Palms forward, all the way up and around and back down. Exhaling to help us lift the weight, getting that breath down. 3, 2, 1. All right, 10 seconds. We're doing that again. This is round 2. We're doing 3 total. So we'll do this all one more time after this round. 3, 2, 1. Keeping this lowering the weights nice, slow, and controlled. Really keeping that emphasis on our shoulders. The front, side, and back of our shoulders are all getting worked right now. 3, 2, 1. All right, up next, we got RDLs, 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. 3, 2, 1. So 1, 2, 3, squeeze 1, 2, 3. So we're using those glutes to squeeze up, keeping our hamstrings engaged as well. 3, 2, 1. All right, one more set of those here. And then we're doing bent over tees. Getting lots of back work here today. 3, 2, 1. Push those hips back. Keeping those weights as close to our body as we can. Pushing through our heel, big toe, little toe. We're keeping a slight bend in the knee, but we are not bending our knees to go down. 3, 2, 1. All right. Bent over tees are next. So it's same as the bottom of our RDL position. 3, 2, 1. So I'll go at this angle this time. So you see the back is flat, core is tight. I'm pushing my hips towards the wall behind me, squeezing through the rear delts here. So your pinkies are up, you're squeezing right here on the back of the shoulder. 3, 2, 1. All right, 10 seconds. We're doing that again. And then we got glute bridges coming up after that. 3, 2, 1. So our chest is down, exhaling, pinkies up, driving through the elbow. So when I say pinkies up, that means we're holding it here. We're coming straight out with those pinkies pointed towards the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. All right, on our backs, getting ready for glute bridges. Dumbbells go on those hips. 3, 2, 1. Squeezing the glutes the whole time, constant tension, pushing through our whole foot here as well, keeping that pelvis tucked, focusing on only using the glutes to come up. 3, 2, 1. All right, 10 seconds. We got that again. And then we got glute bridge marches. 3, 2, 1. Great job keeping that core engaged. Feet are about hip width apart here. Really squeeze those glutes. I always talk about this, focusing on intent. 3, 2, 1. All right. Up next, we have, that's really on my chest. Up next, we have glute bridge marches. 3, 2, 1. So tuck that pelvis, squeeze the glutes, lift those hips up, alternating feet like we are marching. Our core is engaged. So if you have that apple right here, you're crushing it, exhaling, using the core to bring the knees up. 3, 2, 1. All right, 10 seconds. We're doing that again. Then we got dead bugs with the core assist. 3, 2, 1. So we're tucking the pelvis, squeeze those glutes, get those hips up as high as you can. Really exhaling, keeping that core engaged. 3, 2, 1. All right, last one of the round. Dead bugs with the core assist. 3, 2, 1. So knees are directly above the hips. I need to scoot back because I just kicked the couch. Okay. Crush the apple with your core as we exhale back to center. Belly button nailed into the ground. Oh, we are resting. Great job. You got one more of these. Then we're doing around the world raises. 3, 2, 1. This is going to be our last set in round 2, and then we're going right into round 3, and then we're going to cool down and go on with the rest of our day. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last round, y'all. Getting up for around the world raises. 3, 2, 1. Palms forward. Driving through all the way up to the ceiling. Exhaling as we come up to center. And we're resting. All right, we got one more. This is our last thing of around the world raises. And then we got our RDLs next. 3, 2, 1. Whoops. And want to make sure we're not using momentum. We're just using our shoulders to lift that dumbbell overhead. Awesome job, y'all. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. All right, up next, our RDLs. 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. Focusing on the glutes here. 3, 2, 1. Feet or shoulders apart, pushing those glutes back, dragging the weights in front of our legs here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. We are resting. We got one more set of those. That's probably confusing because I was counting and then counting down and counting up. 3, 2, 1. I guess you can always tell if I'm counting for seconds of the movement. Like that is going to be 1, 2, 3 count, and counting down to rest and start periods is always going to be 3, 2, 1 for me. So that's, I guess, how we're going to differentiate here. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're done with those. We have bent over tees. Our next. 3, 2, 1. Tuck that pelvis, core tight. Push the hips to the back wall here. Squeezing through the backs of our shoulders, keeping our shoulder blades pulled down and back. Pinkies and elbows towards the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got one more set of those. And then we're on the ground for the rest of the class. And then we'll cool down after that. 3, 2, 1. Pinkies toward the ceiling. Exhaling as we come up. Great job finishing strong here. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Awesome job. Oh, I need a good stretch. All right, glute bridges next. 3, 2, 1. Dumbbells on the hips. Feet are hip width apart. Keeping the glutes squeezed the whole movement. Our pelvis is tucked. We want to make sure that we're going to full extension here, but we don't want to arch our back. So we don't want to go up too high to put that stress on our low back. Oh, we're resting. Sorry. Okay, last glute bridges. 3, 2, 1. Squeezing all the way up, all the way down. Controlling our movement, focusing on the glute squeeze. Great job. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 2 more movements here. Glute bridge marches are next. 3, 2, 1. So we're checking the pelvis, squeeze those glutes, hips in line with the knees and shoulders, keeping that back flat, core tight. Crush that apple with the core as we bring that knee up. 3, 2, 1. Okay. One more round or one more set of that. And we got dead bugs. We're done. 3, 2, 1. And by done, I mean we'll still have to cool down, but we will at least be done with the movement portion of the class. Really drive those knees up, keep that core tight. Not using the hips, squeeze the glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right, last movement here, dead bugs, core assist. 3, 2, 1. Hands above the shoulders, belly button pressed into the ground. Exhaling, crushing the apple with our stomach here, using the abs, not the hip flexors. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last set of these, last movement of the morning. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're pushing hard. Last set, best set. Using that core, keeping everything engaged here. Extending one leg at a time. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. And we are done with the circuit. Awesome job, everyone. Go ahead, get a sip of water if you need it. We're gonna make our way on the ground, on our hands and knees for our cool down. So we're flipping over, and similar to our warm up, we're gonna do a static stretch for this. So on the hands and knees, let's start with my right hand. I'm gonna reach through in between my left arm, my left leg. Back of the hand pushes into the ground, pulling away with the upper back, feeling that stretch all right under the shoulder blade, which is what we worked on a lot today, was our back. So stretching that out as best as we can, slowing the breath down. Nice big deep breaths. And one more inhale. And on the exhale, we can return that hand back under our shoulder. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So left hand in between the right arm and right leg, head on the ground, pushing the hand into the ground, pulling away with our upper back, feeling that stretch right underneath our shoulder blade here. Nice big deep breaths. And let's go ahead and do one more inhale. And on the exhale, bringing that hand back under the shoulder here. All right, last thing we're gonna do, let's go ahead and take those knees a little bit wider than hip width. Sink the hips back, walk those hands out, forehead, chin, or cheek to the ground. For child's pose, we're gonna do 3 deep breaths here. So inhale nice and deep through the nose into the belly. Feel that low back expand. Exhale longer than your inhale out through the mouth. Relaxing further into the stretch here. So we got 2 more breaths here. And one more big inhale. Slowly exhaling. And after that last exhale, you can either stay in child's pose if you would like, or you can return to seated, kneeling, or standing. But that is going to be all the time I have for this Total Max Strength class this morning. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you feel nice and ready to go. Got a good workout in to start the day. Love it. I love working out with you guys nice and early. It's my favorite way to start every Thursday. Don't forget, we do have some live classes today. So we do have 2 stretch breaks, one at 11 and one at 2:30, both with Luis. And then we have exercise with Exos at 12 with me. 12:30 is dance with John, and at 4:30 tonight is abs, core, and mobility with Brittany. So a lot of different choices today. Join us for any one of those. We do also still have our virtual blood drive going on, so you are still able to sign up. Got to get a June blood donation date in order for that to count. So you got a couple weeks left to get that appointment in and donate your blood. But you can sign up on our SharePoint site, type in Exos at Autodesk into SharePoint, and you'll find us. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.